So in this video, I'm going to do a brief review of solving two-step equations and then intro the idea of solving a multi-step equation. And by the time we get to the bottom of page 1 here, we'll be solving a multi-step equation. All right. First, let's take a look though at some vocab. Good old-fashioned two-step equation right here. I want to remind you guys that in this situation, our variable is considered the x. In this situation, our constant would be this -4 right here. The coefficient of the variable is the number 2. And in this case, the total here is the 10. All right? Now, if I ask what are the two terms in my algebraic expression, I've got 2x as a term and -4 is the other term. This term that's all by itself is called the constant. And this term right here has two parts, the coefficient with the variable. Okay? So now that we've reviewed our vocabulary, I want to remind you guys now how to solve a two-step equation. All right? We're going to dive on in here for number 1, and you can either try these on your own and then check the video, or feel free to let the video play while you work. So for the first one, our constant's a +2, so I'm going to subtract 2 on both sides, and that cancels out, and I'm going to bring down the -2x. Then I've got the -82 minus 2, same sign, add and keep, so I'm at a -84. Now I'm going to divide both sides by my coefficient of -2, and x is all by itself. And over here, the negative divided by the negative, we get a +42. Cool. Let's move on to number 2. So for number 2, this time the variable is on this side, so the number all by itself is a 5, and I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides to get rid of the constant. I'm left with a -5x over here, and on this side, 15 minus 5 is the 10. Now, because my coefficient is this -5, I'm going to divide both sides by the -5, and x is all by itself. And over here, a 10 divided by -5 is -2. Sweet. All right, back up here to number 3. So the variable is on this side again. Constant's a +3, so I'm going to cancel it out by subtracting 3 on both sides, and I bring down my 4x. Over here, 27 minus 3 is the 24. And now, since my coefficient's a 4, I'm dividing both sides by 4. X is by itself. And 24 divided by 4 would be 6. And now for the final one to review, notice that I'm also going to review here what to do when you have a denominator. Still though, if you have a constant, first thing first to get rid of the constant. So we have a +3, we're going to subtract 3 on both sides. 9 minus 3 is 6. So now if we have x divided by 4, to undo that, we're going to multiply both sides by 4. And it cancels out over here. X is now going to be equal to this 24. And so that's a review on how to solve our two-step equations. Now I wanted to review with you guys how to simplify an expression by combining like terms. So up here, friendly reminder that because you were given the total, when you find the missing part, you are solving. Now for these, notice I don't have any equal signs. We don't have a total given. So we're not solving for any of the missing variables here, folks. We're just going to be simplifying these expressions by grouping together the stuff that we can group together. So I've highlighted it here to help you see it in the video, and I've also got it either circled or boxed, or for the z's here I have a little cloud. And that's just a strategy for what you can use in case you just have your pen or pencil. And if you don't have a highlighter, you could use the shapes here to help you identify the like terms. Another friendly reminder here is that we want to focus on alphabetical order and that the constant always comes last. So that being said, for the first one, we've got a y, we've got x, and we've got z's. So we're going to go for the x's first. Now the -9x's plus these 5x's is where I'm getting this -4x. Now let's take a look at the y's, y'all. So I got 4 of them minus 8, which puts me at a -4. But right here, I'm going to add 4. So -4 plus 4 is actually 0, and that cancels out. You can also see it right here. If I go ahead and put a plus sign, I got these 4 plus these 4 is 8. Now take away 8, and the y's cancel out. So notice I don't even put that in the answer over here. And for the final like terms that we can combine, we have 8z's minus 12z's, and so now we're at -4z's. Awesome. So now let's take a look at the next one. Once again, folks, you can feel free to pause the video and just work on your own and then check with the video, or you can just continue to let it play and listen to me talk. So for the next one, we've got 4 x's. I'm going to go ahead and add 6 to get a +10, and now I'm going to take away 12. So 10 minus 12 is where I got the -2x. it's okay to do 4 minus 12 and get negative 8, and then add to 6 and get to negative 2 that way. Now for the constant, I've got negative 17 plus 19, so that puts me back into the positives, and I'm at a plus 2. So notice I'm putting my answer in alphabetical order, and the constant is last. All right, for the third one, I have negative 12y's plus 1. Friendly reminder that this is a coefficient of 1. So negative 12 plus 1, you're going to get a little bit closer to 0, and so we're at negative 11y. And now 8 minus 9. If you have 8 minus 9, it's a negative 1. So this simplifies to negative 11y minus 1. Now the last one here with the fractions, I wanted to put some fractions into the mix, but notice that I've got common denominators here, so I'm trying to keep it somewhat acceptably easy. So for the green here, I've got 10/6 plus 8/6. And since they have a common denominator, I can just add 10 plus 8 and get 18/6. Now, friendly reminder that 18 divided by 6 is 3. So this green part, 10/6 plus 18/6, 10/6 plus 8/6 is 18/6, so 3x. Now for the blue, I got a negative 4 plus 12, which is a positive 8. And now we've reviewed how to combine like terms. So you've got your expressions, things like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 terms, combined all the way down to 2 terms. All right, now let's put it all together. Where are we going with all of this? So now the goal is to first simplify the expression by combining like terms, and then you're going to solve the two-step equation that you know how to solve. So for the first example, in yellow, I've got my 6x's minus 2x's is 4x's. And 12 minus 3 for the constants is a positive 9. So now I've got 4x plus 9 equals the 21. Now because we've been given the total, we are expected to work backwards and solve for x. So we're going to subtract 9 on both sides to cancel out the constant. And 21 minus 9 is 12. Then we're going to divide both sides by the 4 to get rid of the coefficient. And our answer here will be 3. All right. Now over here, let's take a look. We've got 12 minus 7, which can combine to be this 5. And there's nothing else we can combine with this, so I've got the minus x over 3. Now what we're going to do is recognize that we have a constant of 5. 5 minus 5 is 0. And so I'm left with this negative x over 3. And on this side, it's going to equal 6. Now this negative right here, folks, I'm now moving it to the denominator so that we don't forget about it. And now we're going to multiply both sides by the negative 3 for it to cancel out. And notice x is all by itself. So over here, the 6 times the negative 3 is the negative 18. And we're good to go. Now I do want to show you guys real quick how to check these. We're actually going to check it by plugging it in every time we see the x in the original problem. So for this first one, we're going to have a 12 plus 6 times 3 minus 3 minus 2 times our 3. Notice I'm just plugging in for x, this 3. And now with PEMDAS, we're going to simplify here. We've got this multiplication is an 18. And this multiplication, this negative times positive, this is going to be a negative 6. Now I'm going to write the 12 plus, and then the minus 3, and I'm just going to move this minus 6 over. So just stick with me mentally, y'all. 12 plus 18, that's going to be a 30. Now 30 minus 3 is 27. And now 27 minus the 6 is in fact 21. And that was the total we wanted. So we know we're good to go with this being our answer. Now over here, what we're going to do is we're going to take the 12 minus 7 minus, I got a negative 18 over 3. So this negative divided by positive is a negative 6. And I've still got the 12 minus 7 minus out in front of it. Now this minus negative, you're kind of used to seeing some parentheses here. And that turns it into a plus 6. So 12 minus 7. And now this is the plus 6. So y'all, what's 12 minus 7? It's 5. And what's 5 plus 6? It's 11. So we get 11 for this one. And that was the total we were expecting. So we know plugging in a negative 18 was the right thing to do. So the purpose of this video was for me to review with you guys how to solve a two-step equation, also how to combine like terms, and notice by doing this, we're trying to get to two terms. The goal of getting to the two terms is to now be able to solve the two-step equation. And that concludes the video for page 1. Thank you.